get going. It is November 4th, and I'm going to call to order the East Lyme Inland Wetland Agency regular meeting of November 4th, 2025. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. We don't have any additions to the agenda today. Public delegations is the time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission about certain matters, issues or concerns related to approved wetland permits and in-house proposals, or general topics of discussion are open to comment. We don't have anybody here for that. There's no public hearing tonight. So do I hear a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of October 7th, 2025?
A motion to accept the meetings of October 7th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Now on to you, Anne.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Ann Chicello, ex officio from the Board of Selectmen. There's not a lot to say. I did attend a Water and Sewer Commission meeting on October 28th, 2025, and one of the issues that came up was the capacity for Landmark LLC and Jarvis LLC concerning development on Calkins Road. So basically this is Mr. Russo wanted additional, I think it's 118,000 gallons of sewage capacity, and it was denied after a heated discussion by the board because, as Mr. North, who represents the Water and Sewer Commission, was saying, that the town does not have the capacity at this point for that, because there are people who are like ticket holders who have the ability to connect in but have not. And so we can't really give that capacity away. So that was basically the essence of the decision. So that was the big decision. I think it was in the Day newspaper also. Other than that, it's election day today, so we're just kind of waiting to see the results of that. Are there any questions? No. Okay, I think that's it. And then, I guess tomorrow, Board of Selectmen meeting, I think Gary's coming to discuss the draft inland wetland regulations before the board. So I'm looking forward to that. Great, thank you.
So moving on, under new business, we have 29 Upper Walnut Hill Road, Jeffrey Gano, applicant and owner, application for a 2-lot subdivision of land zone RU 200. Is that right? 200?
Correct.
Tax Assessor's Map 54, Lot 9, East Lyme, Connecticut.
The applicant is not here this evening. Your application, last time by Jeff Renaud. Description of soil in that delineated, so we just have to determine whether or not this needs a public hearing. My opinion, it does not. It's a one-lot re-subdivision of land. Plan. It's a very large acreage. Being that it's an RU 200 now, the applicant needs 200,000 square feet per lot. That said, they had initially started out with the RU 80 design. Unfortunately, to find out that the zone had been changed, and then they had to revise the plan. So this is the initial plan that they had, showing the proposed the existing house on the lot. The wetlands, there's a water course behind this existing home. As you can see, and then the property continues on. Their proposal initially had a lot up here, and it was just a simple lot, no wetlands involved. Unfortunately, they needed to expand the lot. That being said, I did receive updated plans from Brian Florick, their surveyor, which this here will kind of, it's missing sheet 5, it's a 5-sheet plan set, but it shows the proposed house up front. Here's the property line, and instead of connecting and cutting it off, it runs all 2, where the existing home is. They do, with the exception of this shed, does have to get relocated in order to meet the setback.
So it's one lot now with a house, and they're just adding an additional lot. Okay. And we're determining if it needs a public hearing.
They made an application for a permit, and the wetlands on the property being subdivided, so they have to come here. You can determine that no permit's required, that's fine as well.
A wetlands permit?
And yes, if you determine that there was no wetland permit required, you can make that determination for the subdivision. There's no public improvements being proposed, the frontage is on Upper Walnut Hill.
So, I'm sorry, they're not proposing a house or anything, they're just subdividing.
You're proposing a re-subdivision, and so as a result, you can contemplate the activities made inevitable by that, which is the construction of the home, which falls, I believe, within the 300-foot upland review area, or just shy of it, I think. You see these wetlands here, there's this flat down on what would be lot 2.
So they're like just at 300 feet outside the wetland review, the upland review area?
I'll have to scale it off on here, I don't see the mark,
There's a line that says 300.
I'm not seeing it.
It's a diagonal from upper left to lower right.
Yeah, so it's this line here,
No, it's
where my cursor is tracing.
over to your right. Go to the right.
You have to put upland review?
Keep going. Isn't there a label up there that says 300 foot? Right on all those lines that are close together up top there?
No, wetland flags for map reference 1B.
So here's on my copy.
And then,
There's right there. That says 300 foot upland review.
yeah, that's what I'm pointing at, my cursor. That's interesting. Because it's on. Right, okay, so right there, this line. is
Yeah,
300
and so the wetlands are to the right of that, correct?
Correct, the wetlands are back here, in
Yeah.
this pocket.
Yeah.
So you'll note that the test pits were done up in the front of this lot.
What are all the starfish? What is that?
Really steep slope, huh?
The starfish, those are trees, existing trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
So based on my observations and review of this plan as proposed, you can see where the silk fence is just outside that 300 foot. I don't necessarily think a permit is required for construction of that.
It doesn't look like there's any clearing within that 300 foot?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I would
A limited
say
clearing.
need, yeah.
Okay, so once again, we're voting on just subdividing the lot?
On whether they need an applicable permit to subdivide a lot. I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Make a motion, they don't? Do we have to motion that?
Yes.
Okay.
You're making a determination.
Understand.
There are no proposed regulated activities, and the permit's not required.
Just a thought, with this subdivision, you mentioned that there's consideration of the possibility of a home being on the subdivided lot.
Yes, that's.
How does that fall into the 300-foot wetland area? If it were proposed to build a house?
So if this house that I'm pointing at, that
It's on
shows
page
the proposed
3.
home, is outside that 300 foot,
Okay.
so that's where I was saying there'll be a permit for it. All the
Yeah, this
activity
is-
outside 300 foot.
This is the proposed house. The limits of clearing there, and the 300 foot upland review area is right there.
Okay,
So they're
fine.
not, yeah, they're.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Thank you.
it took me a little bit to find that map. Yeah, but any other future development would have to come potentially to us.
Right, so basically anything.
Anyway,
I think they would have great difficulty trying to
Yeah.
subdivide the remaining portions while remaining compliant unless they commingle land. That being said, it's unlikely that they would go through that exercise. I'd also note that you'll see the driveway here. This is the existing drive to the south. That's the existing drive to the existing home, which would continue to be utilized by that rear lot. But any work or any activity proposed in that 300-foot upland review area in the future, such as a shed, a pool, whatever else you could think of, a barn, whether it be in that 300-foot area or even to the land area to the east, this, I don't know exactly how much land that is, probably 3 acres in there. They'll more than likely come back.
Mhm. Okay, so do I hear any motions, decisions, discussion?
I make a motion to not have to require a permit, inland wetlands permit for this development proposal.
Do we have to say?
For, I was gonna say, yeah, for
activities
29
outside of
per,
300 feet?
So is it a non-regulated activity, or are we just saying we don't need a permit?
I would say it's a non-regulated activity, as there are no proposed regulated activities.
Within the
Permit is
300
not
foot.
required.
Yeah.
So it's
okay, vote, we accept this as it's just without the 300-foot upland review area. What else?
It's a non-regulated.
Oh, it's a non-regulated activity, right.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's everyone. All right, so next is 137 Grassy Hill Road, Assessors Map 51, Lot 21, Richard Pape, applicant and owner, application for determination of a permitted non-regulated activity for a timber harvest with a temporary stream crossing. I'm doing two jobs tonight.
Do I have a second to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe the applicant's here, present. The application for timber harvest, will explain any of it?
It's-
The voucher?
Yeah, basically just more or less a timber stand improvement.
Before you go on, I just gonna need your name and address for the record.
Matthew Derby,
Yeah, sorry, could you come up to the podium?
want me to come up here?
Yeah, please, thanks.
Matthew Derby, yeah, timber harvester.
Your address?
13-1, Griswold Point, Old Lyme, Connecticut.
Speak away. Let me, give me a second, pull up the plans. This is the overall site, the 7 Grassley Road.
So the black lines will be roads going into the site,
Correct, yeah.
and then there's a temporary bridge right where that black mark is.
Yes.
See that?
Yeah, there'll be two.
There should be one,
And see where that long line is right there? There'll be another one down
there
there.
should be one here,
Yeah.
Yep, right there.
And then the dot up there.
and one in the back.
So the goal of this is to, you said something about making it better, more productive?
It's more of a timber stand improvement than a timber harvest. It's a lot of low grade firewood and just unproductive wood, so to speak.
So this is not clear cutting, this is selective,
No.
and it's,
No, selective.
and it's not grubbing, you're gonna leave stumps?
Stumps are all staying, yeah.
Can you tell us about the stream crossings, what your plan is?
Timber mats, crane mats, 3 wide, driveway over them.
And what time of year do you plan to do
Probably throughout this winter, we'll be active.
this? Okay.
So you're not really building bridges, you're just putting mats through the water.
Crane mats just over the flow. Which, as dry as it's been, there was actually no water there when we walked the site. It was, I mean, there will be, but it was dry at the time.
So is this an agricultural activity?
Yes.
Forestry is, yes.
Silvicultural operation, exempt activity.
And so when this activity is complete, the mats would be taken up?
Come out, yep. They go from job to job, use them.
I'm pretty sure that a motion to accept this as a non-regulated activity, not requiring a permit is in order.
Second it.
I'd also note that I think the activity will certainly clean the property up from its historical use. There was a previous owner who, I'm not sure exactly what they did in there, but they did do a fair amount of clearing themselves, and I believe took a number of stone walls and left it quite a mess.
Hmm.
I don't know what to call the stone walls, but it was fairly nice. So I think the current owner is looking to start the process of cleaning that up and having better forest management. Hopefully that'll help reduce any forest fire. That's going to be an issue in the coming years. It's gonna be cold.
Alright.
So that was my motion.
Okay, Greg made the motion and Don seconded
seconded
it.
it, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, easy enough, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Alright, next is Holmes Road, Upper Walnut Road, Grassy Hill Road, Assessors Map 55, Lot 3-1, Carlson applicant, East Lyme Land Trust. Change owner, application for determination of permitted non-regulated activity for timber harvest and farmland restoration.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Torrance. I'm here on behalf of the East Lyme Land Trust.
Letter from Mr. Carlson.
So this application is for timber harvest and farmland restoration on a portion of the land trust property. The land trust property, just as a quick background, I can give you some.
Copies of the survey.
Thank you.
So the land trust owns, acquired about 300, a little more than 300 acres back in 2022. It's since acquired a small amount more in fee, about an acre, and about, what was it, 7 or so acres in a conservation easement. The original owner kept about 19 of the acres. So this property is, so the land trust property at this point in time is about 302. 260 of them are in East Lyme, the remainder's in Waterford. When the grant application for the DEP Open Space and Watershed Land Acquisition Program was submitted back in 2020, I think, 2020. Yeah. The plan for the property included some farmland restoration. And as part of the application, we we identified about 100 acres of either prime or locally important wetlands soils, or not wetland soils, I'm sorry, farmland soils. And as part of our application, we indicated there could be as much as 100 acres of farmlands that could be restored up there. This initial application for determination is for about, there's 4 acres on Grassy Hill Road, just off of Grassy Hill Road, and about 12 acres up off of Holmes Road. This is the area on this is the area on Holmes Road. And, this is the area down on Grassy Hill Road. So it's a total of, in its initial phase, about 16 acres. And what the plan would be to do is to clear that acreage and reestablish farmlands. And the way that we're working with the United States Department of Agriculture on this program, and this grant that we attach to our application is what'll be funding portions of those activities. I think it's important to note that the way these particular grants work is that you do the work first and then you get reimbursed. So I'll give you some of the maps from the GIS. This is Holmes Road. And that's Grassy Hill. So there's no activity proposed in any wetland, but there will be activities in the upland review area. And we believe, based on our reading of the underlying inland wetland statute, that both the farming activities and the clearing activities are non-regulated activities under Connecticut law. That said, this activity is going to be monitored by the USDA, and so we need a determination as part of this application process. And one of the requirements will be to flag these wetlands, the boundaries of them, prior to the commencement of work. So what you can see as well is both of these areas from the topography perspective are rather flatter areas of the property, up here and down here, that we've elected to be the first areas. And we've also, as I borrowed this, there's no, at least on the Holmes Road property, there's no threatened or endangered species. The area that we're talking about is all comes across from here and over and back here. So there's been a determination from DEP on the National Diversity Database that there's no endangered or threatened species. And then finally, we have some historical photographs that we originally used as part of our grant application. And these were from 1934. That I have some individual copies of these too.
You didn't know they had airplanes then, did
Connecticut National Guard, they actually.
So 90 years ago, it was open farming.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you these.
So I think this is all very good, and I agree with all of this. I have a question about on the Grassy Hill Road side.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, there are some existing homes adjoining the 4 acres or so that you're planning on clearing.
No, there's not. So if you look at the Grassy Hill property over here, there's to the west of it is a small farm, and to the east of it is a lot that has not been built on. And then there's 2 homes, and then the land trust property picks up again.
So what agricultural use is going to be taking place?
So part of this whole process is with the Department of Agriculture will be certain recommendations as to what are best activities in terms of a farming area. On the Holmes Road piece, it's probably going to be pasture because those soils on that 46B soil is a soil that is very wet in the spring and very dry in the summer. So it's just I think it's in our application. So that is more going to be a pasture type of Holmes Road, or I'm sorry, Grassy Hill Road is more of a has the potential. So 84B, is a Paxton soil, so it's what you see a lot of in East Lyme, where it saturates and it's very wet, a very wet soil, which is conducive to growing grass in the springtime, which is what you see up in that area, and then it dries out in the summertime. If you look at the historical photos, which I never gave you, all right, did I give you those? Yeah. You know, you can see on the historical photos on the Holmes Road parcel, which is that map that has 771 at the top of it, how it appears to be kind of a small orchard to the right of the yellow line near the wetlands that flow through there, and then the rest is pasture. And what I did was we colored in the areas, and then we also gave you an uncolored copy. So the first one kind of directs you, and then the second one is you know, you can see it a lot better. These photographs come from the state of Connecticut. There's you know, historical photographs that are available. You can just get them online. So in the grant application, what we're saying is attributes of the property, and it's consistent with what you do in these DEP open space grant applications. So each one of them is a little bit different because each property has a little bit different twist to it. In this particular case, there was a lot more forest-related activities. So a Hathaway property, on that we identified an area which was 20 acres or something to that effect that could be used for farming activities when we obtained that particular grant. So I guess the answer to your question is it'll be pasture, some grasses. Right now it's so what similar to the previous application. The previous owner of this property, quick history lesson, this commission and the zoning commission back 2005 to 2008 approved a golf course and 80 residential homes on this 300 acres. And then subsequent to that, you know, when 2008 came along and the economy tanked, you know, they got into trouble. So what they did was they went out and did the same thing that happened on these folks' property, which was they took all the good timber and they took all the stone walls out of there. And so what happens is, at least on our property, I'm not familiar with theirs, is on the land trust property, what happened was you had areas in which invasive species took over, right, depending on how much they clear. So the Grassy Hill Road location is a perfect example. That's primarily made up of invasive species at this point. A lot of the land up on Holmes is the same thing, because they took all the marketable timber, which is the valuable stuff, and they left the dead and diseased and you know, type stuff. So you know, what we're taking out, you know, has no real value, you know, from a you know, it's not like we're selling the timber or anything like that. In fact, they'll probably be chipping most of what we cut, because it's all relatively young, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old.
So the timber harvest, is that happening on the property in its entirety, or are we just focused on the highlighted areas?
No, for right now, the application that's in front of you is just for these two areas.
Just for two highlighted
Yeah,
areas?
yeah. We'll be coming back as we get into this, so the way that the program works is we'll reestablish the farmlands on these two areas, and once we've reestablished them, they'll reimburse us for a portion of the expense incurred in doing that, and then you go on to the next piece of things. So this is not inexpensive, by any means, and activities. So the land trust will have to put their arm around a few people that they typically do, and get them to advance the money, and then it'll be kind of a rolling thing where they'll get this activity done, and next year they'll come back and look at other things. Now, they are one of the other things that we are in the process of doing. We did a preliminary evaluation by Forrester back, Dick Raymond, who's done a lot of work for the town. When he was with the DEP, he's a forester for the DEP. Back then, he's retired now. But he did a preliminary study of everything. And then over the summer, the same gentleman that was here on the abutting property, the Muscarellas, that were doing a timber harvest, went on to our property and did an updated preliminary evaluation, which has led to a full forest management plan type thing that's going to identify various areas. There's literally no marketable timber out there because it was all taken. So it's all this, the growth that's out there is all about the same age, which from a forest perspective, at least my understanding of it, is not optimal. And so a lot of the areas are steep slopes. They're just going to be left alone, but there are other areas out there that can be improved upon in the future. But we'll take those, one at a time. So it's probably a 10-year plan that we'll be dealing with here to get this site to the point that they are looking to have it brought to.
So I think the motion again is that this is an unregulated activity that does not require a permit.
Can I just ask a question? So ultimately, what is your end game for this land?
Well, it's protected by a conservation easement held by the DEP.
Okay.
All right. So the conservation easement that's held by the DEP allows for different activities that are allowed, passive recreation primarily. Right.
So you can't build houses?
Oh, no. You can't. No building, no subdividing, but forest management, forestry, farmland restoration.
I'm sure it would be a big TSI would be the second phase that you're talking about, timber stand improvement.
Right. So it's the same thing that these, they from the sounds of it, they inherited the same type of situation that the land trust inherited with this property. So this property can't be developed. It's got an open space and watershed land acquisition grant and conservation easement that's already been recorded, in the land records. It's this exact same thing that the town is in the process of finalizing with the DEP for the Hathaway property. So it'll be permanently protected with a conservation easement held by DEEP. Yeah.
I believe the land trust just wants to have some use on it.
Yeah.
They could lease that land to a farmer and actually create some revenue for themselves.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. There's got to be, okay. where the revenue would be coming in down.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get timber,
I mean,
so-
12 acres of hay isn't going to provide you very much revenue. I mean, what?
It's a start rather than just
Yeah.
do nothing.
Yeah.
That's why so when you hear about the plan, there could be a expansion of that ag land. So
Right. Yeah. So if you look at the topo map, which is this one, you can see that this whole area down in here is a cliff. So nothing's happening there. This is a stream that comes through here, and this whole area in here is the headwaters of Cranberry Meadow Brook. It comes out and goes west, over Muscarella's property, and then south down along all those houses on Upper Walnut Hill Road, where this previous the subdivision application that you just heard is located. What?
you can know.
Yeah, yeah. So this comes up all the time. It comes down to Grassy Hill Road and ends up in Latimer Brook.
Can I just ask about, I know this is not related to the agricultural use, but there are some neighbors that are right there. Are you leaving any kind of buffer to, they have woods now and it's going to be a pasture behind them now? Is there any buffer?
Yeah,
that you're leaving?
So if you look down on Grassy Hill Road there, right? So the right hand side of that property, that's a lot, and there's a wetland area that comes down that whole boundary. You can see you can see the contours in there. So if you look at that boundary, there's a wetland line that comes down to the eastern boundary of the lot, Gary. Yeah. No. Oh. So let me get my ruler. So there's a wetland that comes right down here that acts as a natural buffer in there, so nothing will be done in that wetland area. It separates that lot.
So so on the map you can see
Yeah, there's a little bit of a break there in between.
Yeah,
it's like this stone wall, all of that property was found.
yeah,
So that's the one on Grassy Hill.
right. And then up on Upper Walnut, there's one lot that's adjacent. You have to look at because that property line has been revised since that Alter survey was done. So there's one house right here. And this area is coming in next to it. And this vegetation in here, but what's there is all pretty ready. It's there's not much of quality. And a lot of what we'll do is similar. If they find a good specimen tree when they're out there, that's, because this isn't really, intended as a commercial activity, right? So they'll, if they find a nice big old tree someplace that's healthy, they'll leave.
They'll leave it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem is there may be a few, but there aren't many.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions?
Actually, could you, for the soil map, where is that exactly from?
Where do we get,
From the soils,
yeah, the US,
Flammable soils.
on that soil, so where is the source of that?
Yeah, the source.
it probably came off of the GIS.
Yeah, so it came off of our GIS, it's really derived from the Connecticut Soil Survey, so, which was 1972, I think. So it's a 50,000-foot view of Connecticut, has all the soils. You know, there was a change to our soil mapping, it went from full-fledged names to now a bunch of numbers. So what I knew was Paxton, Charlton, I knew those as sandy soils or this or that. So understand, now I have to learn them by number, and it's like paint by number, so literally, it's hard, you can't.
If you look at our application, the soils list, we list the soils, the specific soils by number and description, the narrative description. So these could have come off. This could have come off of the SCOG website because we needed to get Montville in there as well. That might not have come off of the East Lyme GIS.
Yeah, it's like they filed something, the property line runs over to Montville. That being said, I was considering the web soil survey. That's another tool that the USDA supports. There you're just kind of tracing the polygon, selecting the entire area. It can get a little more granular with it, but it's kind of hard to.
You can go on the East Lyme, so you can go on the East Lyme GIS map for East Lyme and go down into layers, right? And it'll say soils, and then soil description, text, and soil material, all three of them, and click it. There you go. It's got the numbers, and then when you isolate it a little, yeah.
85C. Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah, look at this. So in color, you get kind of what it is. Unfortunately, because there's so many colors, I make a mistake. I would just assume with this.
Yeah. So here's a list of every soil that's it's attached to the application. Every soil that's on that map on that site.
We were really curious. I think we can tie with the proposed activity to be exempt. Agricultural nature and recreation.
Right, so do you use that motion capture?
Yeah, non-regulated exempt.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
John second. Gary, you agree with that?
To take maybe North Rockford first as they're here, and then go to the A project.
Yeah.
Findings regarding both applications. Again, as you recall, this item has to stay on the agenda for 15 days. So here we are. This is pretty straightforward. Single-family house barn. There's some language. I know it might be a little overkill, but I'm sure this will cover.
it have to be read into the,
No, I think just as long as you read a motion,
So,
or
yeah.
the motion's there for you, for language, on it, sounds nice, pretty. I went through the conditions, while there are 11 of them there, there's pretty strict a lot of them are the standard 6 that we have on the permit already, which are, contact me, 3 days prior to construction, those types of things. So, being that the activity, I think, is, in my opinion, far enough from the wetlands and water courses, I didn't necessarily think there's a need for a PS line. I didn't recommend one, but that's subjective. I did, number 6, sorry, it does have that. That was 6 months. But if you want it, it's there. I don't think the town engineer needs to review it. Could be nominal.
So if we move to accept this, can you just type this in, or it's already typed in, just you cut and
Yeah.
paste and just put it in there?
Yeah, you moved to based on this.
I think I'd make more mistakes reading it in than you would just cutting and pasting.
Yeah, so if you move to approve this as written. So I'll just cut this.
All right, I move that we approve there's a memorandum. Is there a number or anything?
I would say you move to approve the application based on this.
Move to approve the application based on the memorandum of November 4th, 2025.
From me to you.
From Gary Gaishel to the Inland Wetlands Commission.
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Was there something on that memorandum that I needed to read, or you could give me a copy of that? Is there additions on there, or I didn't get a chance to read it?
ES control will be installed.
Okay,
Notify me before you start construction.
Yeah.
Loam seeded use of best we can. That's reach limits of disturbance.
This is the one that the state's doing, the bridge over
Try not
Lyme
to use
Brook.
calcium chloride for dust control.
No,
This was
The town's doing that?
no,
Oh,
this
yeah,
one
yeah,
is
we could, when they, 'cause I just
that
get
Anything
one.
additional work, then you come back,
Yeah.
change the plan, submit to me,
Is that driveway?
tags you get from my office.
Remember
on the
it's,
trees. Okay. All right, thanks, Gary.
All right.
Appreciate it. Yep, thank you.
No, this is a Colony Road Bridge. Colony Road Bridge. Over Lyme
There's
Brook.
another one behind it.
Oh, there is?
That's the one we were, yeah. There's another.
Yeah, there's another phone call in real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get back on track here, we've got,
Wait, yeah, which
301
one?
Chesterfield Road.
Oh. Sorry, which one?
301.
301 Chesterfield Road?
That's this one.
Okay.
So, I'm only bringing this to
Who's
your
up first?
attention. I normally would get issued, this is a very simple
This one.
application for a property tag.
Ace is high.
But being that I have a business relationship with the owner of the property, I thought it would be to bring it before you to make that decision or determination, or at least you can direct me to issue the permits, as I would typically do so in any other case. Residents,
Yeah, I was wondering about this one, why we're seeing,
because I have a business relationship.
okay.
They just want to put a hot tub in on a slab?
Oh, I see, got it, okay. And where is the hot tub gonna be?
Yeah, the red.
This is the blue map?
Yeah.
I got overwhelmed with all that last
Yeah,
application, there's too much
yeah.
stuff, I see, okay. So they're putting in a concrete slab and a hot tub
Which is going to be
next
right,
to a pool?
yeah, right beside the existing pool.
Existing.
Yeah, and it's right on the lake there, pond, yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
something, I don't know.
yeah, okay.
Well, that's
Um, Okay, so we're just going, our purpose now is to direct you with administrative approval,
Then I can issue a permit,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
if that's sufficient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I move that Gary should be able to provide administrative approval to this project.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, easy enough.
Now,
All right, so now,
Now the bridge.
now the bridge, Colony Road Bridge, number 05623 over Latimer Brook. Jeffrey Fontaine, PE applicant, Town of East Lyme.
I think we would have approved this last time if we didn't have to wait for
Right,
the days for a public hearing, so.
Yep, for sure.
yeah, definitely.
So you caught up, are you ready for a new motion? Pardon me?
Who seconded the
I
last
did.
motion?
Seconded,
Oh,
John.
John did.
John, we'll check. Okay.
This is the. Now I'm caught up.
Huh?
Now I'm caught up.
Okay, now you're caught up. So, the motion's gonna be on the other one, that, I move that,
There's, Greg, there's a
yeah,
proposed motion.
yeah, but to
You-
avoid reading it all in.
Yeah, but you can just take the first
Oh, okay.
First paragraph?
paragraph,
Yeah, okay.
Stop.
first sentence.
Based on the findings in the memorandum from Gary Gaishel to Director of Planning to the Inland Wetlands Agency on November 4th, 2025, hereby move to approve the application known as the application of Jeffrey Fontaine, P.E., applicant, agent, Town of East Lyme, owner, and plans entitled Environmental Permit Plans Replacement of Bridge, number 05623, Colony Road over Latimer Brook.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, lots of applications. So now the old business is the inland wetlands watercourse regulations. Those will be have a public hearing next meeting, December. So we can go through that then.
Yeah, I'm providing for us a brief presentation tonight.
Do you want my typos?
Yes.
I believe this is,
There'll be more.
I believe this is the most recent one.
Yeah, I haven't changed it since,
Okay, section 5 isn't in the table of contents.
section 5 is not
Just thought I'd point that out. There's usually an X on the margin. To remember that.
the.
Yeah, it's right here. It's filed in.
Okay.
There aren't many. It's just
All right.
columns and columns.
Always something like section 5.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to write by committee to begin with, and it's hard to keep track of what is changing.
And table of contents and page numbers are the worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I have nothing for chairman's report. So back to you, Gary, and then wetlands agent report.
Yesterday I issued a permit for, the address is Holmes Road, but, the property actually fronts on Salem Turnpike. So it's a zero address, zero home road. This, application was for a single family house, an attached garage. So I issued that permit. That being said, I don't have the address for this. Most often I recommend you get the Salem Turnpike address. It's practice going on. How we got a home road address, because there's no frontage on it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Other than that, I've got several other applications pending. One, 11 Harvest Glen for a new single family house. Which I have to
11
review.
Harvest Glen.
Yeah, there's a lot in the corner.
I thought that was all developed.
No corner, except for one lot that was remaining. I think that's the last lot. Anyway, they just applied for their permit. It's on 67 Sigby Hollow Road, a new deck, and acquired the property, they conveyed the strip of wetlands on the point. So the only caveat with that is that those individuals, they have the right to work out over that if they want to adopt. But again, adopt would be permitting, etc. So.
Wait, so
Yes.
there's no water wetlands on the property,
And thus,
but
they apply for a subdivision. So statutorily, like the one that you just saw, the only reason they're in front of you is because there's wetlands on the property being subdivided. You look at the Holmes Road, Upper Walnut Hill corner, what did they do there to avoid any wetlands? Was to convey out wetlands to the East Lyme Land Trust. Third party, exempt, so by removing that, they're avoiding statutory harm. I don't know how else to rectify that one. But it's, I don't necessarily think it's the best practice by a land trust.
yeah.
So particularly if they're I guess it's, on the one hand, I think it's thought of that the land trust is to have any ability to acquire land and preserve it at any meaningful volume. I think their philosophy right now is the easiest way is to subdivide lots off in order to offset their costs, in order to preserve the bulk of the land. So I don't know, that, again, that's a land trust philosophy that they've been following anyway, because it seems to be so. And their justification for the subdivision is that it offsets our cost to preserve all this land. And yes, there's a cost to somebody, having to do that, but again, there's also somebody making money. Right? Whether it be in the form of a tax deduction, or just.
So there's no way to caveat, like, that this property was part of the land trust at one point to consider it, it's for wetlands.
Well, I mean,
There's not, once it's gone, right?
it's
The property, like, once they take that wetlands out, it's
now a separate parcel.
right.
And they can do it under the statute so long as it's for the purposes of conservation.
Yeah, it's open space. I mean, they're.
So and I know I'll strongly recommend you follow the current re-subdivision application pending before the planning commission for Catbird Lane. That public hearing will open up this month, next week.
Where's Catbird Lane? Is it?
So it's basically in the what we refer to as the heritage subdivision, or otherwise known as Birdland. All the streets are named after birds. But it's off of Goldfinch Terrace. So if you go down Egret,
I know where Goldfinch is, and where's it?
So if you get to Goldfinch Terrace, take a left and go to the north end of Goldfinch.
Yeah.
And when it takes a left-hand turn there, that road becomes Catbird.
Okay.
Catbird, no, Cedarbrook. Sorry, that becomes Cedarbrook Road.
Yeah.
So the parcel that they want to re-subdivide, where they want to put the house, is on Cedarbrook. Catbird Lane is a little cul-de-sac off of that.
Okay, I know where you're talking about now. Okay.
And the parcel used to wrap around Catbird Lane, but they carved off a couple of acres of this, which was a 6-acre parcel, and the land trust acquired all 6 acres or something like that, and now they convey back to, I guess I'm not sure if it's
English.
Oh no, on this one, it could be English Harbor.
English Harbor, yeah.
English
But
Harbor
isn't there a way,
Management.
that's the way they kind of, they don't have to pay taxes,
So-
right? Isn't that?
Well, that was kind of, it appears
Avoid.
it's a way to avoid tax. So
Yeah.
the land, KSK Associates had the land, conveyed it to the land trust. The land trust then conveyed the 1.2-acre piece, or whatever the house is going, back to English Harbor Associates. And then, I'm not sure the current owner is there. And now the land trust owns this really odd-shaped parcel. However, back in April, they applied to my office for an inland wetlands permit to do test pits on this portion. I've denied it, I've not issued it. And it's not automatically approved because it is a wetland permit application. So it's a little unique in that way. Most likely, I'm surprised they haven't brought it to your attention and brought it forward for my lack of action. That being said, with the pending application, I'm questioning, why would you be applying for test pits when it was for conservation purposes? And then in the supplemental documentation that they've submitted thus far, it's even referred to that, hey, this was carved out for purposes of conservation, therefore we don't need a full A2 of the entire thing. So that's all going to be in the record. So I understand their position on that.
And so why are they before planning then?
Because the lot, back when the Heritage Phase 1 subdivision was approved, this area was approved as a part of the open space, or at least it was shown on the maps that were filed in the office of the town clerk as open space. However, that open space was not conveyed to a third party to be held, or to the town. Rather, there were two parcels of open space that were conveyed to the town and accepted by the board of selectmen. So part of the argument was, well, the town accepted this stuff, but you didn't accept the rest of this. And my assumption is, my hallucination rather, is that, somebody, it fell through the cracks, it never got conveyed, the easement was never filed. And the developer held on to it for years and years and years. For whatever reason, the tax office never really picked up on it, I don't know. And now this developer sells it to KSK, and KSK is moving forward, or has moved forward in the fashion that they have. So I've spoken to them, and they did come before the planning commission with a lot line revision, saying this can be approved as a building lot through a lot line revision process. The planning commission felt that that was not true, and that it was by definition a re-subdivision. One, it was identified as open space on the previously filed map, and it was significant enough of a change and was never approved as a building lot to begin with. So how can you have a building lot just out of the blue? Well, it is a lot of record, doesn't mean it's a buildable lot of record until the planning commission approves it as a building lot. So that's where I think they're trying to go. What the planning commission will do, wait and see. I've got you all the public hearings. That'd be Monday, the 10th, as Tuesday, Veterans Day. Close. No, they don't meet on Tuesday. So this application for a single-family house. So on the one hand, well, the application for the subdivision didn't come before you. Each house will. So this will be considered a receipt, and I think, well, everything's within 300 feet. So I guess to put it in context, they're showing 72.1 feet from the nearest corner of the house to the property line, and then we'll probably get another 20 feet or so to the wetland. I presume. But,
So that's the application you just had received?
we just received it on
Okay.
October 17th in our office, so today's the actually received it 65 days after that.
Okay,
See it next month.
okay.
The others are, I think, are administrative permits. Harvest Glen, I also would call it most likely the wetlands pretty far on that. Yeah, they're within 300 feet, but outside the 100-foot upland review area.
Okay.
I'll note that subdivision was approved and the upland review area was 100 feet. So it was in keeping with that subdivision, so this would have been theoretically wouldn't have needed a permit had it been built when all the other houses were built.
Thanks, Sam, good luck.
Thanks.
Good night.
So I felt, more comfortable reviewing this and pushing it administratively. So I anticipated doing that. The ones out on Heritage should probably all come before them.
is, you know, has concern, then that warrants justifying a public hearing, right? To hear,
One out of 19,000? I'm not saying that.
if it's
I'm not-
one, I mean, how much we talking
I
neighbors?
don't know. Yeah, I've talked to them several times. I think they understand that, you know, the subdivision is gonna happen in that regard. So, and they understood that if it met the regulations, the town would be in a position where they have to approve it, or would be required to approve it, versus, you know, going through the process of litigation to find that answer out. So ultimately, we approved the subdivision. Here they are. I think they understand that it's a buildable lot, so regardless of what is said, I don't think, you know, it's really gonna make that much of a difference, other than, as I review these, my goal will try to keep as much vegetation between the homes and the lake
Yeah.
as possible.
Mhm.
That, you know, understanding that these people will want, water views on that piece.
Yeah, you don't want all that acreage just clear cutting to the water.
The good news is that there's this strip of land that's been conveyed to the land trust, which prevents that, so we'll at least have a vegetative buffer. And that'll be an arrow, you know, for that. But I'm looking at doing probably conditioning, we can discuss that next meeting, but probably condition, I recommend we condition the planting or having vegetation if needed. I didn't see.
Is there, talking about, you know, this agricultural use, is there any like follow-up, you know, with 10 years from now, are they still using that property agriculturally? Or are they just gonna clear it and then let it go? I mean, how is that maintained? Especially if it's by the land trust.
That's a good question. So it sounds like they're in the process of trying to develop a management plan for a 10-year plan. And in doing so, they will follow that. But financially, how do they effectuate it? I don't know. Other than, as you heard say, he's going to have to fundraise and find philanthropic individuals willing to donate to the cause. So it's, I continue to apply for grants from the USDA. They'll be able to commit. I think if they get some progress and some momentum, and residents kind of see that there is some benefit here, then there might be some change of heart in the community about the land trust, and they'll get more support than they currently have. I think it's, you know, into all my opinions about history, but I think that's one of the struggles. It appears that there's a negative perception there, and there's very few individuals involved right now. I know the land trust is looking for membership. You know, and we need to help run and be effective.
Yeah, because I'm just curious, you know, if they create these pastures, and how are they maintaining them? And again, we're allowing this as a non-regulated activity because of its agricultural use, but I mean, you clear cut something once, it's not agricultural. It has to be maintained as an agricultural property.
That's what we would hope. We actually hope that they
But then we
expand
could go
that,
back and they
make
could,
it a viable farm.
would they have to replant if they're not maintaining this as agricultural?
They just let it be forest.
So in 100 years?
So you gotta scratch your head, you know, is this a wise use of our funds and funds of that organization? You know,
Yeah, it didn't quite make sense.
Especially if they're only getting reimbursed partially,
Right.
right? That,
so, you know, I'm just, yeah, not 100% certain, other than I think there's a desire, speaking to the chair, Mr. Carlson, you know, he's passionate about this project, and that he's gonna bring his farm back. So I'm excited that, you know, at least there's that behind it. So there's what appears to be good intention.
is there a need for farm fields within the area?
I would say there's a need for agricultural uses in East Lyme as a whole. We have a lot of open space, most of it's forested, and our farmlands have diminished significantly. You can see just looking at those aerial photos from the 30s to now. I think about sustainability, and you know, obviously, I never have an expectation that East Lyme could sustain 19,000 people and its own food sources, but you know, can we do a better job great to be able to go down to the local store and buy stuff that was grown here.
You have a community garden.
Reduce your carbon footprint. How come I don't, I still scratching my head why I don't see more local farmers, their wares on local stores. So maybe that's the commodities that they're growing. If they're growing hay, well, I'm never gonna see that.
Right. Right.
And that corn, I'm not sure where it goes, depending on how well the crop comes in, maybe. Some of it gets
Well, most corn is
meal, some of it goes,
food for hogs and
yeah.
cattle.
Weathersfield gave us our corn.
I do know in my pursuit of agricultural uses, corn is one of the more viable crops in terms of financial viability. Maybe not the best for our soils, but it's in revenue. So I'm not sure if their intentions are to create an entire hay field. I know there's a couple of farms that still do hay and allows do hay. In particular, I was driving on it. Add it down, it's no good.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there are, but I really do. So yeah, I think it's great if we can bring back some agricultural uses, support our.
Well, that would be part of the planning commission, right? I mean, if they should have an overall plan for like
Yeah, right.
land use for the entire town.
Well, we have do plan development, yeah, we have that kind of generalized land use plan, and theoretically that zoning map is supposed to help effectuate that. And having upzoned the north end of town, certainly that will lend itself to larger lots. But I kind of worry that the lot's not necessarily, big enough, 5 acres. You can farm something, but like you just heard, 12-acre hayfield. I'm not going to do hay bales. So, is that maybe? Yeah, and I realize you're looking at the underlying soils and hydraulic conditions to determine what might grow best there.
Yeah.
Maybe
But the real concern is, I think to echo what Christian said, is that you get the 300 acres to the land trust. That's great. But 25 years from now, they desperately need money, so they decide to sell half of it off for development.
you can't.
Okay.
The 300 ones, the easements held them in file on land records, so they can't get DEP holds the easement. So think of it more like it's state land. So so when I was made aware that they were going to hold the easement, things moving forward, I felt very comfortable with at least the state can deal with that, ensure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted on the conveyances.
Yeah.
And then obviously the state is interested in what they're going to do with their easement. And I think part of their grant application was they will kind of convert some of these farm fields to farm ag uses. I know there's a push at the state level for some of that.
As you point out, we got a ways to go. And the competition between, taking land to be a farm versus taking land to be a housing development of 65 homes or something is tough.
Yeah. And I think in terms of, the farm, how do you hold on to the farm if your margins are so small?
Yeah, so it is possible though if the land is under the land trust to be developed.
Agricultural.
To be farmed, not to be built
No,
on.
you can't build on
You
it.
can't build on
There's
it.
a conservation easement that precludes any construction. So there.
But the Heritage Road property was,
The Heritage Road property, that 6 acres, that's been subdivided into 3 lots. Then we have 117 acres adjacent to it that the town owns.
okay.
He was talking about having identified farmland soils, 20 some odd acres on it. Again, would the town go in and take that 20 acres? And I don't think that's our priority right now. If somebody was so philanthropic to pursue it, yeah, we work with them. What's the benefit on 20 acres, right? I mean, here you've got 12 and 10 or something. It's 2 separate areas. I don't know. It's not necessarily my expertise of small farms, but
Because, as you said, you could lease that land to an existing farm where, 20 acres or 12 acres or whatever
I mean, you know, I guess if we could have, call them micro crops, I suppose, that's, you know, these little, you know, farmer could tend to crops. Being that, you know, in the bee world, I'm planning on tending multiple sites where I have beehives in various locations, so it'll be no different than that. Send workers to this field and over to that field. Well, it's not ideal because logistically you're going to expand the footprint and you
20 acres of flowers that take care of a lot of bees.
which I, you know,
He has to recuse himself.
Well, there's also the Oswegatchie clearing that was happening up there for agricultural use.
yes, that ag use is still continuing.
So
Meanwhile, he approached
Yeah.
it just
water
seems,
sewer
is this,
commissions
are we,
for sewer allocation. So,
are these loopholes here, or are we legit? I mean, I mean, again, it's outside of our realm, I mean,
Well,
but,
yeah, he's operating under the agricultural exemption. I would say he's legit right now, and until such time that he puts a shovel in the ground to build a road and, you know, some houses. Again, before he even does that, yeah. I would add, probably put some erosion sanitation control laws with the town, zoning commission,
do they have to get planning approval for agricultural use?
no,
So they only come to wetlands?
for determination of the activity.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, all right. So I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All those
Go.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.